Awards and Decorations of the Department of the Army.
The Army Recruiting Ribbon. The Army Recruiting Ribbon will be awarded to all soldiers who provide a valid referral to the U.S. Army of an individual who both enlists and ships to Army Initial Military Training, IMT. Soldiers may receive the Army Recruiting Ribbon up to 4 times during their career. Additional awards are identified with a numerical device added to the ribbon. At each award of the Army Recruiting Ribbon, soldiers will be awarded 10 points toward promotion to E5/E6. Soldiers may receive up to 40 total promotion points for 4 valid referrals.
The Army Reserve Component Overseas Training Ribbon. It is awarded to members of the Reserve Component of the Army, National Guard and Reserve, for successful completion of annual training or active duty for training for a period not less than 10 consecutive duty days on foreign soil. All National Guard and Reserve soldiers who accompany the Reserve Component Unit, including unit cells, to which they are assigned or attached as active duty for operational support during overseas training are also eligible for the award. The Army Overseas Service Ribbon. It is awarded to soldiers of the U.S. Army for the successful completion of overseas tours. The Army Service Ribbon. It is awarded to soldiers of the U.S. Army for completing initial entry training. This includes advanced individual training for enlisted soldiers and branch-specific basic officer leadership courses for commissioned officers. For personnel assigned to MOS or AOC based on civilian or other service-acquired skills, this ribbon will be authorized upon honorable completion of 4 months of active service. The Non-Commissioned Officer Professional Development Ribbon. It is awarded to regular Army, National Guard, and Reserve soldiers for successful completion of designated NCO professional development courses. The Army Sea Duty Ribbon. It is awarded to soldiers of the regular Army, the National Guard, and the Reserves for completion of designated periods of sea duty aboard Class A and Class B U.S. Army vessels. It is also authorized to be awarded for duty aboard other qualifying vessels when the vessels meet the requirements of Army Regulation 600-88, other qualifying vessels. All service members regardless of the component must complete 2 years, defined as 720 days, of qualified sea duty on a Class A or B U.S. Army vessel or duty aboard other qualifying vessels when such vessels meet the requirements of Army Regulation 600-88, to be awarded the ribbon. Unit Awards. The Army Superior Unit Award. This award is to recognize outstanding meritorious performance by a unit during peacetime of a difficult and challenging mission under extraordinary circumstances. Circumstances may be deemed to be extraordinary when they do not represent the typical day-to-day circumstances under which the unit normally performs, or may reasonably be expected to perform, its peacetime mission. The unit must display such outstanding devotion and superior performance of exceptionally difficult tasks as to set the unit apart from and above other units with similar missions. The Meritorious Unit Commendation Award. This award is awarded to units for exceptionally meritorious conduct in the performance of outstanding services for at least 6 continuous months during the period of military operations against an armed enemy. Service in a combat zone is not required, but must be directly related to the combat effort. Units based in the continental United States are excluded from this award, as are other units outside the area of operation. The unit must display such outstanding devotion and superior performance of exceptionally difficult tasks as to set it apart and above other units with similar missions. The degree of achievement required is the same as that which would warrant the award of the Legion of Merit to an individual. The Valorous Unit Award may be awarded to units of the Armed Forces of the United States and co-belligerent nations for extraordinary heroism in action against an armed enemy of the United States while engaged in military operations involving conflict with an opposing foreign force or while serving with friendly foreign forces engaged in an armed conflict against an opposing armed force in which the United States is not a belligerent party for actions occurring on or after 3 August 1963. The award requires a lesser degree of gallantry, determination, and esprit de corps than the Presidential Unit Citation. Nevertheless, the unit must have performed with marked distinction under difficult and hazardous conditions in accomplishing its mission to set it apart from and above other units participating in the same conflict. The degree of heroism required is the same as that which would warrant the award of the Silver Star to an individual. Extended periods of combat duty or participation in many operational missions, either ground or air, are insufficient. The Presidential Unit Citation Award. is awarded to units of the armed forces of the United States and co-belligerent nations for extraordinary heroism in action against an armed enemy occurring on or after the 7th of December 1941. The unit must display such gallantry, determination, and esprit de corps in accomplishing its mission under extremely difficult and hazardous conditions so as to set it apart from and above other units participating in the same campaign. The degree of valor required is the same as that which would warrant an award of a Distinguished Service Cross to an individual. Good Conduct Medals. The Army Reserve Component Achievement Medal is authorized for award to Army personnel in the rank of colonel and below. The individual must have been a member of the National Guard or Reserves. The medal is also awarded to reserve soldiers serving as individual mobilization augmentees after completing qualifying service and on the recommendation of the unit commander or headquarters department of the Army official to which the individual mobilization augmentee is assigned. Active Guard Reserve soldiers and officers are not authorized to the award of the Army Reserve Component Achievement Medal. Soldiers completing 3 qualifying years of service on or after the 28th of March 1995 are eligible for award consideration. This change is not retroactive. A qualifying year of service is one in which a reserve soldier earns a minimum of 50 retirement points during his or her retirement year. Qualifying service for computation purposes is based only on retirement ending year dates. The Army Good Conduct Medal. It is awarded on a selective basis to each enlisted soldier who distinguishes himself or herself from his or her fellow soldiers by exemplary conduct, efficiency, and fidelity throughout a specified period of continuous enlisted active federal military service. Throughout a qualifying period, each enlisted soldier must meet all the following criteria for an award. The immediate commander evaluates the soldier's character as above reproach. The record of service indicates that the soldier has willingly complied with the demands of the military environment. Be loyal and obedient to his or her superiors. Faithfully supported the goals of his or her organization and the Army. Conducted himself or herself in an exemplary manner as to distinguish him or her from fellow soldiers. Army Individual Decorations. The Army Achievement Medal. The Army Achievement Medal is awarded to any member of the Armed Forces of the United States, or to any member of the Armed Forces of a friendly foreign nation, who distinguished himself or herself by meritorious service or achievement of a lesser degree than required for the award of the Army Commendation Medal. The Army Commendation Medal. The Army Commendation Medal is awarded to any servicemember of the Armed Forces of the United States who, while serving in any capacity with the Army after the 6th of December 1941, distinguishes himself or herself by heroism, meritorious achievement, or meritorious service. The award may be made to a member of the armed forces of a friendly foreign nation who, after the 1st of June 1962, distinguishes himself or herself by an act of heroism, extraordinary achievement, or meritorious service, which has been of mutual benefit to a friendly nation and the United States. The ARCOM may be awarded for combat-related service or achievement after the 29th of February 1964. Awards of the Army Commendation Medal may be made for acts of valor performed under circumstances described above which are of lesser degree than required for the award of the Bronze Star Medal. These acts may involve aerial flight. A bronze letter, V, for valor, is worn on the suspension and service ribbon of that medal. The ARCOM may be awarded the C device to recognize exceptionally meritorious service or achievement performed under combat conditions on or after the 7th of January 2016. The ARCOM for specific achievement may be awarded the R device to distinguish that the award was earned for the direct hands-on employment of a weapon system or other warfighting activities that had a direct and immediate impact on a combat operation or other military operation on or after the 7th of January 2016. The Army Commendation Medal may be awarded for acts of noncombatant-related heroism which do not meet the requirements for an award of the Soldier's Medal or for acts of aerial flight that do not meet the requirements for the Air Medal. The Soldier's Medal. The Soldier's Medal is awarded to any person of the Armed Forces of the United States or of a friendly foreign nation who, while serving in any capacity with the Army of the United States, including RC soldiers not serving in a duty status, as defined in 10 the United States Code 101 Section D, at the time of the heroic act, who distinguished himself or herself by heroism not involving actual conflict with an enemy. The minimum degree of heroism required is comparable to that of the Distinguished Flying Cross for heroism. The extraordinary act must have resulted in an accomplishment so exceptional and outstanding as to clearly set the individual apart from his or her comrades or from other persons in similar circumstances. The heroism must have involved a clearly recognizable personal hazard or danger and the voluntary risk of life under conditions not involving conflict with an armed enemy. Awards will not be made solely on the basis of saving a life, assisting emergency personnel, or acting as a good Samaritan. The Soldier's Medal may be awarded for non-combat heroism in a combat zone or an area designated for imminent danger pay, hostile fire pay, or hazardous duty pay. The Distinguished Service Medal. The Distinguished Service Medal is awarded to any person who, while serving in any capacity with the U.S. Army, has distinguished himself or herself by exceptionally meritorious service to the government in a duty of great responsibility. The performance must be to merit recognition for service that is exceptional. The exceptional performance of normal duty will not alone justify an award of this decoration. For service not related to actual war, the term duty of great responsibility applies to a narrower range of positions than in the time of war and requires evidence of conspicuously significant achievement. However, justification of the award may accrue by exceptionally meritorious service in a succession of high positions of great importance. Awards may be made to persons other than service members of the Armed Forces of the United States for wartime services only, and then only under exceptional circumstances with the express approval of the President in each case. The Distinguished Service Medal may be awarded with the C device to recognize exceptionally meritorious service or achievement performed under combat conditions on or after the 7th of January 2016. The Distinguished Service Cross. The Distinguished Service Cross is awarded to a person who, while serving in any capacity with the Army, distinguished himself or herself by extraordinary heroism not justifying the award of a Medal of Honor, while engaged in an action against an enemy of the United States, while engaged in military operations involving conflict with an opposing or foreign force, or while serving with friendly foreign forces engaged in an armed conflict against an opposing armed force in which the United States is not a belligerent party. The act or acts of heroism must have been so notable and have involved risk of life so extraordinary as to set the individual apart from their comrades. The Distinguished Service Cross is a Valor Award and will not be awarded for achievement or service. The appropriate equivalent award for achievement or service is the Distinguished Service Medal. This information can be found in Army Regulation the 22nd of August 600.